Welcome everyone. So one of you let me know in the comments the other day that they had black cardinal philodendrons in Lidl's and they were only $9.99, so I did go and have a look and I actually decided to buy two. So this is the first one. I can't believe how beautifully healthy they are, honestly. They also come in these basket pots as well, which is quite nice. So I got that one, and then I also bought a second one. Since they were so cheap, I decided to buy two so that I could put them into the same pot and have a much fuller plant, because I don't think I'm going to have the opportunity to buy this plant at such a low price again, and with them being so healthy I thought why not get two. So today we're going to be potting these into the same pot. But aren't they beautiful? Such dark glossy leaves, and honestly I don't think I ever remember seeing this philodendron before for sale anywhere. So yeah, I will have a nice full philodendron by the end of this video, but also a couple of new baskety pots too, which is a bonus. So we're going to start by taking them out of their pots, seeing what's going on with the roots. They actually weren't overwatered, and as I say, they're in really good condition. There aren't any pests on them, so I was so surprised because Lidl is not usually known for having healthy plants. Supermarkets in general don't tend to have the healthiest plants here in the UK. I think maybe I got lucky because the deliveries were fairly new. So I've picked a pot here which I think is going to be the right size, but it's possible I may have to get another pot. Start with just taking them out of their pots and having a look to see what's going on with the roots. Just put on some gloves. They did also have some other plants there, but these were the only ones that I fancied. And yeah, I think they're going to look really good together in the same pot. So let's just start by taking out the tags, which I expect the care advice on these tags is probably useless. It usually is, isn't it? Let's see if we can get this out of here. There we go. And yeah, let's see what's going on here. The potting mix that these are in is actually not too bad, which again is very surprising because normally it's terrible, isn't it? Yeah, it does actually have some perlite in there and it looks kind of chunky, so I don't know. Maybe that's part of the reason why they're so healthy, but right, let's start with this one and see how we go. We also have some sticks in here that are kind of giving them a bit of support, so I'll take those out for now. I may put those back in a bit as well. But just whilst we're removing the soil, I am going to remove the soil that they're in, even though it's not too bad, just so that when I repot them into my new potting mix, it's all the same kind of soil. Let's have a look. I haven't actually watered these yet because they were kind of moist when I bought them. They weren't overwatered, I would say, but certainly quite moist. So it was nice to see that they weren't overwatered. The roots are quite dark. I don't think they're rotting. I think it's just because of the colour of the leaves. You know, a bit like when you get the Pink Princess has pink roots. I think maybe it's just that. So yes, it is. It's got kind of quite dark burgundy roots. I'll show you when I've got it out of the pot here. Let's get it out of the pot first and then we'll see. See if I pick the right side there. They are really well rooted established plants as well, which is great. I generally don't tend to buy that many plants from supermarkets anymore, just because they do tend to have problems, but occasionally I'll make an exception, and this was an exception. Yeah, after one of you commented saying that these were in Lidl, a couple of days later my mum-in-law actually texted me and she said that she'd been in and seen that they do have them at our local Lidl, because obviously there are different Lidls, so, and she said that they're really healthy, so I basically went there the same day to have a look, because I felt like moving fast was needed, because I imagine the longer they're in the store, the kind of the worse their condition will get. So, and yeah, they are plug plants, so they've got a little bit of plug netting in there, which I'll just gently pull off. But yeah, if any of you have bought these from Lidl, let me know how yours are doing. Did you choose to repot yours or just leave them? To be honest with you, if it hadn't been for the fact that I was combining these two plants, I probably would have just left it in the pot it was in, because the potting mix it was in looks actually really good. Only reason I'm doing this really is because my plan is to put them into the same pot. So, but look at those roots, they are actually really healthy, and they're a lovely burgundy colour, which kind of matches the colour of the stems and the petioles. So yeah, really healthy plant there, very pleased. Let's just see how that fits in relation to this pot I've chosen. Yeah, I think this pot should be fine, providing this one hasn't got a really massive root system. Okay, next one. I honestly can't believe how beautiful these plants are. And as I say, the total price of these was £20, including the pot. So I don't think you'd have found a plant this good, this big, even one of these for £20, to be honest with you, in say a normal garden centre. So I felt like it was smart to buy two. Yeah, and this one looks just as healthy as well, really nice. Really good potting mix too again, which, yeah, very surprising, because that never happens, does it? Lovely. They've obviously been given a good start in life, these. I don't know where they came from, but whoever grew these has done a very good job of growing them. And yeah, the potting mix is coming off nice and easily. I think the roots are maybe a little bit more established in this one, a little bit more root growth here. We'll see if my pot still is suitable. And I'll just remove that little bit of plug netting again. I used to be outraged by plug netting, and I know a lot of you guys get outraged by plug netting, but you know what, it's just one of those things. It's how growers grow plants, and it's no big deal. Just take it off. I mean, it doesn't actually seem to have done any kind of hindrance to this one. The roots in this one are definitely a little bit more established. It has more roots. Two really beautiful healthy plants with lovely healthy roots, lovely healthy foliage. Very pleasantly surprised by that. Look at those roots on that one. Aren't they just such a beautiful burgundy colour? I love that. Pretty sure I used to have my hair that colour when I was younger. Okay, let's just test this pot again. You see that one fills the pot completely, so ideally I'd like a slightly bigger pot really for these. Going to go and see if I can find one. I found this one, which is slightly bigger. I think they should be okay in here for now, but they may need a repot before the end of summer, so I'll put them in this for now and then maybe give them another repot if I think it's necessary. Yep, they should go in there for now. Ideally it might have been a little bit bigger, but it's better to go slightly smaller. And as I say, I will just probably repot again if necessary. I'll keep these because these will come in handy for another plant at some point. So I've just got a nice kind of chunky airy mix here for them, which is pretty much what I plant most of my plants in, especially philodendrons. They like a nice airy mix. So I want to place these so that the biggest leaves are kind of opposite one another. So this one's going to go over this side. They are quite big plants. Okay, and then I want to place this one on this side. This looks like to me like one of those upright philodendrons, so I don't think it's going to need all that much in the way of support. It may need a stick or something at some point. You know what, that does not fit. I'm going to have to pop out and get some pots. Okay, I'll be back in a moment. Okay, I've just been out and grabbed some pots. I have a selection of sizes, so one of these should be okay. I think it's probably going to be not that one of those, I think. And yeah, it is quite rainy outside, so I got rained on, but that's all right. But yeah, I just wasn't happy to pot it into a pot that wasn't the right size, so it's worth going to the effort to go out and get the actual right size. I'm going to switch gloves too because those ones are really hot. These ones are a bit more breathable. It's very hot at the moment here in the UK. We are in the thick of summer. Okay, let's take two. I think I need to put a little bit more soil in there. And I'll be a lot happier now knowing that this one actually fits. So let's see. Yeah, that's much better. That really does fit a lot better in there. So I think if I'd have put it in the other one, it would have needed repotting pretty much straight away, which is kind of pointless really, isn't it? So I always seem to have a lot of the pots that I don't need, and then there's one particular size that I do need that I end up not having at the time, but never mind. It's always the way, isn't it? Right, they sit really nicely in there, so I think they look lovely. And yeah, I haven't put any I completely forgot to put my light back on. It's now back on. But as I was saying, this one I don't think needs a support at the moment because it is an upright philodendron. I find that sometimes these do need a support eventually because they tend to get quite heavy, because this is, I think, similar to the imperial green in its growth pattern. So maybe it will need one at some point, but right now it's fine as it is. I just have to try and get this potting mix in. I've managed to get it in all the wrong places there. It's already looking so much fuller now that I've put two into this pot. I want to try and make sure I get them in the right place there. Don't want to bury the wrong bits. since I'm doing this kind of towards the end of summer, I doubt it will need another repot now until next year. I expect I'll probably repot it again maybe at the beginning of spring next year. I mean, it varies by plant, of course, but I'm kind of starting to get an idea now after a few years, well, more than a few years of doing plants. By no means am I an expert, of course, but I am starting to get a little bit more of a feel for which plants need repotting when, and the different growth styles of them and all that, which is part of the fun, really, of growing plants, I think, for me. Working out their growth patterns and learning about different plants and their care needs. It's something I really enjoy about plants. And look how full that's looking already. I think that was a really good idea, personally. It looks a lot more full. Philodendrons do spontaneously send out extra plants. My Prince of Orange is actually doing it at the moment. It's just spontaneously sending out extra ones. So they do that. So you don't necessarily need to put another plant in the pot to fill it out, because eventually it probably will start filling itself out. But you know, if you're able to, I think it's quite nice, because with these being such low cost, I figured it kind of made sense to do it in this case. I think it still would have been a lovely plant on its own as well, without putting two in the pot, but yeah, I just felt like it was a good idea this time around. Just trying to make sure I don't bury it too deeply there. Well, it shouldn't. And settle that into a pot. I don't think I have a cover pot big enough for this. I'm kind of running low on big cover pots as my plants grow, of course. They're constantly needing bigger pots, and I'm constantly running out as they grow, so yeah. Not sure what I'm going to do with this one yet, but right. I think that will do it. And yeah, there we go. Beautiful full plant. I think it looks lovely. What do you think? So that is it for today's video. The plant is now bigger than me. I will try and get it in shot. Isn't it beautiful? Let me know what you thought in the comments, and yeah, if you yourself have been to Lidl and snagged yourself one of these, then let me know. I would love to hear about it. But yeah, until next time, take care.